There is nothing wrong with your television. We are controlling transmission. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to Brunswick Area Television.
Hi, welcome to Golden Years. I am Lori Betts. This month, my special guests are City Manager Carl DeForest and Bat TV's Manager Tom Keppler. So come on back. We are going to talk about the census of 2020 and how very important it is.
Hi, I'm Ed Zachary, Director and Service Officer for the Medina County Veteran Service Office. If you're a veteran or a widow of a veteran and you need assistance in filing a claim with the Department of Veterans Affairs, give us a call, 1-844-722-3800. That's 1-844-722-3800.
When emergencies threaten, you want to know immediately. In the City of Brunswick, residents receive alerts from Code Red. The Code Red service works with a database of phone numbers of Brunswick residents. Depending on the size and scope of the emergency, Code Red alerts either all of the city or just the part that is affected.
This is a Code Red message from the City of Brunswick.
As a city resident, you also have the opportunity to add warnings about severe weather, such as tornadoes, thunderstorms, or flash floods. If you want to be sure that you are registered, or if you want to add or change your notifications or phone number, we encourage you to visit the Code Red website. You'll find a link to Code Red on the city's website, www.brunswick.oh.us. Just click on the button for complete information and options.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betts, and we are going to talk about Census of 2020. So, Carl, thank you for joining me today, and Tom.
Thank you for having us.
And we're going to tell our audience how important this census is. We're in a new decade, so there's a lot of new happenings happening. So,
okay. Are you
share.
going to tell them?
You're going to tell them. You're going to tell them.
Okay. Well, the census is really important because we want to make sure that we get a complete and accurate count of all our citizens. And that's not just here in Brunswick, it's throughout Medina County, every township, every city, and every state, because it's really important when it comes to federal funding. If federal funding is normally doled out by population to certain areas that need it or request it, and our representation in Washington is also dictated by our population. And it's anticipated that the representation in Washington for the state of Ohio is actually going to decrease again, and this will be like the 5th or 6th consecutive time based on the census numbers, because a lot of people are leaving Ohio. I don't know where they're going. Eventually they come back, I think. But so we want to make sure that we get the word out that the census is very important, and we want a complete, accurate count. It's secure. The information that you submit to the Census Bureau cannot be shared with local folks, can't be shared with your friends, can't be shared with your neighbors. Once you submit it, it's under lock and key, and it's just used for federal information based on population and household income and things of that nature.
So when you get this, no matter where you live, you could live in assisted living, you could live in a rehab, a skilled facility, everyone has to be accounted for.
Yes, that's the ultimate goal. So the way the process is going to be is the initial contact you'll get at your residence will have your own designated, we'll call it a secret number. It's a code basically for you to enter if you have a computer. This will be the first time that you'll ever be able to do it online. The census actually started in 1790. Not a lot of people know that.
Wow.
Little trivia. I think that's when you first moved to North Royalton.
Yes,
and
really?
That was the last time Tom shaved, 1790. So we've
that.
been around a little bit, and they actually did it on horseback, the first census. So a little bit of trivia there for you.
Very good.
But this
and it
will
happens every decade?
Every 10 years.
Every
yes.
10 years.
But this will
Okay.
be the first time you'll be able to do it online. So around late March, early April, most households will get an envelope. It'll be an official,
It'll be
United
official,
States
won't be junk mail
Census
looking.
envelope, and
Okay.
it'll have a code in it. And if you use that code and access the census report on the internet, you can fill it out, maybe take you 15 minutes or so. They say there's 9 easy questions. I looked at the sample and there are 9 not so easy questions. Some of them are really easy, like your name and your address. You should be able to get that, knock that out of the park. But so you'll be able to do it online the first time. And if you don't do it online, a period of time goes by, you'll get another communication through the mail. Nobody will come knocking on your door until they've tried to reach out to you 3 or 4 different times.
And they really will come knocking on your door?
They will come knocking on your door, yes, because it's really important to get the information out. So if somebody comes knocking on your door in like late April, early May, saying, hi, I'm here on behalf of the Census Bureau, I'm here to get information or encourage you to fill out this form and send it in, that's legitimate. They'll have identification, and they're actually being paid by the federal government to get this census information out. It's not a scam, it's legitimate, but they fully anticipate that people will turn this into some type of scam because there's bad guys that will turn anything into a scam. So again, to go back, you'll get communication, a letter at your house, no matter where you live, indicating that it's important to fill out the census. This is the information you need to fill out. Here's your code if you want to use the internet. There's a lot of people who don't have computers, or maybe your computer's down. You can use the computers at the library. And we're also thinking about having Census Day, where if you get this communication, you don't have a computer, you don't want to go to the library, maybe you come to City Hall and we help you fill it out.
Oh, there you go.
And that's
or the rec center?
Well, it'd be easier to come to City Hall because the rec center, a lot of things going on. Maybe the computers would be tied up. But National Census Day is April 1st.
April 1st.
So we're trying to get geared up and get the information out to any group, any clubs. We're working with the schools, the churches, the business owners to make sure that they get this information out. Because naturally, when the government starts asking for information, people get a little suspicious. And especially over the last 5 or 6 years, with concerns about illegal aliens and ICE, what are you using this information for? So we want to allay all those fears and make sure people know that it's legitimate, it's reasonable, it's mandated by law, and it's easy to do. Again, you're going to be able to do it on the internet. If you don't do it on the internet, a couple weeks go by, you'll get communication. You can fill the stuff out and mail it. If you don't do that, somebody's going to come knocking on your door asking you to do it.
But then again, the secret number you get, they're not going to ask anything about your Social Security number. It's just going to be that code.
Well, when you enter the information on the internet, I'm not sure, you may have to put your home address, your median household income, how many people are living there between this age and that age, your education.
Well, that's basic stuff.
And I think you may have to enter your Social Security number there so that they're accounting for you, I think. But I'm not 100% sure because I haven't gotten the secret number yet. So.
Okay. Tom, how are you involved?
So they had their first meeting with the federal government. They actually came and said, we'd like to start a committee so you guys can reach out to your community because they don't know, like Carl said, the details of Brunswick the way we do. So after the initial meeting, they thought, well, we should add Tom here because he runs all the communication department. So I got involved that way. We're going to put links to everything on the city website, brunswick.oh.us. We're going to do more shows and PSAs similar to this. Most of it is just making people aware that this is a census year because most people have gone through it before and they're okay with it if they trust the government. But we just want to make sure people are aware this is another census year and how to prepare for it. So.
And we are in changing times right now, so people are very, very suspicious.
Exactly.
Yes, very much.
But I do appreciate what he said where everything, all your personal information is secured. It's protected by law. If you choose to do it online, they don't keep your information online. As soon as it's submitted, they download it to their encrypted federal government database, which isn't accessed by anybody. So that's very protected that way where it's not just floating in cyberspace. They want to make sure all of our information is safe, just to build statistics off of.
So I assume when you do it online, will you get a response that we did receive your census?
You'll get a response confirming that your information has been submitted.
Okay.
But you won't get like an I voted sticker or anything of that nature. I did specifically ask about that.
You did?
Because what I wanted to do was determine some way to reward people who have actually completed it. And maybe on, say, April 1st, encourage people to come to City Hall who have already completed the census, give us proof that they completed it, and then we'd give them let's say a raffle ticket, and let's say we go to GTB Medical and you can pick out anything you want there, even if it's one of those high-priced scooters,
yeah.
You get it for free, you know. So I was trying to brainstorm an idea to reward people for actually getting involved and following.
So that's very good. And so people, April 1st is the date that
Well,
we're going to...
Give or take a week or two on either end, you're going to get a piece of mail from the Census Bureau, and it's going to have your safe, secured, encrypted code information in there, so you'll feel like a secret agent when you enter this stuff. And there's no exact date. I can't tell you it's going to be delivered by March 27th or whatever, because again, this is a huge undertaking and it's nationwide, so it may be a little early, maybe a little late, maybe right on time. And plus, you're in North Royalton.
I'm
so
in the big city.
I don't know if you're ever going to get it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I might not get it. You know, I'm in Cuyahoga. I'm in that big pool,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
I might never even get the census.
We all have our crosses to bear.
I hear you. All right. We are going to take a quick break, and then we are going to hear from these gentlemen why it's so important to the city that this has to be done. So come on back.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're watching The Bat.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Hi, welcome back to Golden Years. I am interviewing City Manager Carl DeForest and BAT Manager Tom Keppler. And we are talking about Census 2020 and how important it is. So, my question to you guys, why is it so important to the city? Why does Mrs. Jones have to fill it out?
It's imperative that you fill it out because the federal funding that comes down to the state and local governments is almost always predicated on population. And not only population, but what they call LMI, low to moderate income. So for instance, over the past several years, we've gotten grants in LMI areas, low to moderate income areas, and a lot of that was based on the census. And that allows us to rehabilitate our roads, rebuild our streets with outside money, as opposed to going back to the local taxpayer and say, hey, yeah, I know Skyview's in bad condition, but we're gonna have to increase your property taxes in order to get this done. We've been able to use CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant money, based on federal funding and state funding to rebuild this. And a lot of the grants are based on population and income. So it's really important. Plus, we wanna know how many people live here. One of the most important things when you check, hey, I want to move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. How many people live in Tulsa? You can bring that up on the internet there.
Or if a business wanted to come to town as well, they can check out the stats and some of the demographics that way.
And decide, is it a good fit for them to
Exactly.
open up a store or put the business here?
So those updated numbers always help. So.
Yeah, and we want accurate information. It's really important that we make decisions based on accurate information. So we want people to know that they're counted, and we want people to get involved and follow through on the census. It's really important.
What was the population in Brunswick in 2010?
In 2010, probably about 34,000. And right now, we're anticipating it to be around 37,000.
That's a big jump.
It is.
Whew. Okay. We talked about that you could do it online. You can do it in the mail, but you have to do it.
You have to do it. Technically, you could be fined. They probably won't throw you in jail for not doing the census, but you can be fined. It's really that important to get it done. The federal government takes this serious, and they're pouring a lot of time, energy, effort, and money into getting the word out. And so we locally constructed what they call a complete count committee. There's one in Medina, there's one kind of an overarching one in Medina County, and townships and cities throughout the state and throughout the nation have complete count committees. And it's just people who are willing to get involved and spread the word and get ministers and preachers involved and put the information out, because I'll use St. Ambrose.
Have you talked to Father Bob?
I've not talked to Father Bob, but there's a representative from St. Ambrose who is on the complete count committee as designated by Father Bob. So I've communicated with Father Bob, but not directly about all this information, And we want to make sure that they can put it out in the Sunday bulletin, indicating that the census is legitimate. It's really important to get involved. And again, if you don't have a computer, or you are questioning these people coming into your door or sending you this information, call the police, call the city manager. We'll look at it and tell you whether or not it's legitimate. Because like you said, there's a lot of scams out there, and we don't want anybody to be scammed. And I know I'd bet my next 10 paychecks that there's going to be somebody building a scam off this census information.
I'm sure it's already being printed.
Yeah. Somebody like you living in North Welton trying to make it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happening. It's a scary world.
Yeah. So that's our method. And again, we want to encourage people to get involved. We're going to use every opportunity to get the word out that it's legitimate, it's safe, it's secure. You've got to get it done by July, and then that information will be processed, and a report has to be sent to the President of the United States by December 31st, 2020.
Okay, and like you said, you made a very good point. Let's say Mrs. Jones has her, maybe even Mrs. Jones, the grandmother, if she has her grandchildren over, let the grandchildren help you, talk to them, and let them know, because it's going to be 10 years from now. They're going to be involved in this.
And I'm sure if the grandchildren are over,
the parents had to bring them.
But they're probably going to be a little bit more proficient at computers. My son is 24, and he could do things with my phone and my computer that I wouldn't be able to do in a million years. And so if you feel uncomfortable navigating the website or whatever, find someone who can help you and get those questions answered and get your information submitted.
And do you think you could be able to put it on hold? You said 9 questions, but they're not going to be the easiest. You think you could put it on hold, the survey, and come back to it?
I don't know if it times out or not.
Have a glass of wine and come back.
I don't know how accurate it's going to be, whether you drink wine or not. It's not going to get your BAC, but if that's what you got to do, have a glass of wine while you're at home, not driving after that, to get loosened up to do the census, then online, then we encourage you to do that as well. But I'm not here to sell wine either, so. We just encourage you to get it done. And maybe, I know that there's groups that get together and, play pinochle or, go to restaurants together or whatever. I encourage you to talk to your friends about it too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And maybe everybody gets together at somebody else's house. Maybe I go to Tom's house and he helps me fill the thing out, because he's a lot better at computers than I am. And that way I'm using his electricity, saving money at my place. See, so you got to think of the whole ball of wax here.
So how updated are the addresses? Let's say if Mrs. Jones moves in March, is she going to get the correct address to her, or would it go to the old address, or would it?
Well, it depends on the timing of her move and whether she's filed with the post office. And
that's where it all comes from. Wow, where do the addresses come from besides the feds?
Well, the federal government will find you. Trust me, they're pretty good at that.
Your cell phone knows where you're at, so yeah.
And I think to a certain point too, they send it to the household as opposed to the person. So if they don't get a response back, they'll just send it to the address because they know there's one there. And then that encryption code, when you enter your stuff, then they know that's you. So I think they work both ways in that way. It won't necessarily be for Grandma Jones or who.
Okay, so is it going to come to occupant, or is it going to come to...
So I think that's, if you don't respond the first few times, I'll do that, just so that way people don't say, oh, that's not me, and throw it away, So, because we looked at our city as a whole and thought the most difficult people to reach will be the renters for that reason, because they're constantly moving and we have so many of them. So to a certain point, they will do that, just current resident, and then send it to you because they want the up-to-date numbers as well. So the first few might come to who they know lives there, and if there's no response, they'll try a different way. So.
And there's a lot of ways that the government gets this information. You know, there's GIS, Geographical Information System. So let's say you live on a street that didn't exist 2 years ago, and now you're living at 1242, whatever the name of the street is. Well, that's on file at the auditor's office because the engineer has to submit the plans. All that information got to go to the auditor's office because somebody's paying taxes on that property, so they want to know where to send the bill, how big the piece of property is. So the government has access to that information. They have access to, you asked earlier about nursing homes. Danbury, for instance, assisted living. They're going to make contact with the managers and owners of Danbury and say, this is what we're doing, and if you have 200 beds, how many people do you have there? 140. We encourage them to fill this out so that we have accurate information. So they've got all kinds of methods and databases that they search. And one of the questions I asked during the training is, how do you know that we don't have an overcount? For instance, if we push out the information, it's based on statistics, we want to get as much information. We're not going to say, well, I live by myself, but I'm going to say I have 15 kids and 3 spouses, so there's, 19 of us in the house. They're going to be able to access information, based on employers and the size of your lot and the size of your house and things of this nature, and determine that, you probably don't have 19 people living in your house because there's nobody going to school here, there's nobody, there's only one here. So the government has ways to balance that out and make sure that they're getting an accurate count as well. So we don't want you to fluff up the numbers, we just ask you to submit accurate, up-to-date information.
So a ballpark percentage, how much do you think is fact? I mean, how off is it?
They say that there's normally about 30% of the people who don't respond. And the people who they don't account for are normally the elderly population because maybe they don't look at the mail, maybe they don't process it, maybe they're not going to get on the internet and submit the information. Somebody comes to the door, they're suspicious, so they don't answer it, so they don't take care of it that way. And the young children, a 2 or 3 or 5-year-old can't complete the census themselves, and maybe they're living at grandma's house because there's a familial situation where there's a separation or divorce or something of that nature. And so if there's questions about, well, they're living here, they've lived here for the last 2 years, do I count them, do I not count them? There's a contact information. There's a 1-800 number that you can call and make sure that you get those questions answered. So normally it's the opposite ends of the spectrum, the young people and the older people that don't get counted.
Will a human being answer that 800 number?
Oh gosh, I can't answer that. I imagine it's a highly trained robot, but I don't know.
Okay, what do you guys want to leave with my viewers?
Well, I want to leave that, we're supposed to muster up here in Brunswick Blue today, and 2 of us did, and 1 of us didn't. But we wanted to share the information. We wanted to use your show as a platform or forum to get the information out.
Educate the public, yes.
Again, we're part of the Complete Count Committee, the U.S. Census. It happens every 10 years, and we're asking people to submit information timely and accurate and make sure you get it taken care of. And if you don't want somebody come knocking on your door asking you, then fill it out online, or when you get the paper copy, you can fill that out and submit it, and they won't come knocking on your door. But if you have any questions, make sure you reach out. If you reach out to the city manager's office here in Brunswick, unless you live in North Royalton.
Give them your phone number.
Unless you live in North Royalton, we'll get your questions answered.
Okay, all right. So just call City Hall.
Absolutely.
The website is up and live now, so if you want to look up more information, it's census.gov, and that's also where you would go to enter your information when your encryption code comes in the mail. You can actually do it before Census Day, which is April 1st, and I believe those will be live March 12th, but it will say in the brochure in the mail that you get when you can do it up. But April 1st is when they aim for, and we want to get everything wrapped up. It ends July 31st, so all the numbers have to be in before that. So.
Okay, all right. Are we looking for like an 11 by 14 envelope, or do you know that answer?
I do not know that answer. I was hoping Tom would know that answer. That's the reason I brought it.
I'll just assume a standard envelope. No, I don't know.
And it'll say Census
In the upper left-hand corner, the return address, it'll say U.S. Census Bureau, and then they'll have information in there, probably a letter, outlining the process, and then it'll have your encrypted code, so you feel like a secret agent when you go to the computer and start entering this stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys joined us today, and you gave us wonderful information about this Census 2020. So if you have any questions, like Mr. DeForest said, you call his office. And I'm sure Betsy will let you talk to him. So that's a wonderful thing that has to be done.
Absolutely.
And the team of the city is going to help these people, the residents, get it done.
We will. And
so do your duty, and it's for maybe your grandkids' future, your kids' future. And like you said, it's the computer world, so a lot of people might end up doing it online.
I hope so.
All right. Thank you for joining. Oh, another thing, I'm sorry.
Thank you for having us.
Hey. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you very much for watching our program, and fill out that Census 2020. We'll see you next month.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Is my 2020 census data safe? After sending your census response, your personal information is kept safe. By law, it can't be shared with any other government agency, law enforcement, or landlord. No one. So take your 2020 census with peace of mind. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.